good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting for the City of Franklin. It is Thursday, June the 12th, 3 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. We do not have a quorum, so therefore the items that usually require a vote will not have a vote. We will go over the items, but we will not vote on those items then. So therefore, if that's the case, we'll go to item 3, which is consideration of resolution 2025-42, a resolution to amend the City of Franklin travel and expense policy relative to documentation, travel, meals, and phone calls. Margaret?
That is me. We are updating, as usual in June, we go through several policies. The first one this year is for the travel and expense policy, just a few highlights. We are specifying what documentation is needed for city records, so that's the first change, just so people know we need the itemized receipt and who attended the meal or the conference and the dates, just so we have more specification. On travel meals, we are just clarifying on what is considered a travel meal and what is not a travel meal. So to go along with the IRS records of if you travel overnight and stay somewhere, that is a travel meal. If you travel to Murfreesboro or Clarksville to visit and have lunch, that is a non-travel meal. Currently, we have specified inside and outside Williamson County, so we're just gaining some clarification for employees for that. And then the last one is there has been a part of the policy that we will reimburse up to $5 per day for personal phone calls. If somebody has to travel on business, we're taking that out. I would say 99% of the people have a cell phone now. So we're just modernizing the policy for that one. So those are the 3 big sections that are being updated on our travel and expense policy.
Any questions, Alderman Peterson?
No questions.
None from me either, then let's go to, okay, go ahead.
So Eric and I drive to Murfreesboro, and we're there for 3 hours, and it's a lunch meeting with the mayor. We can't pay.
No, it's still a city expense. It's just not it's a business expense, not a travel expense.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just how we're classifying it.
Let's go to item 4 then, consideration of resolution 2025-43, which is a resolution to amend the City of Franklin payroll procedures relative to software name, longevity program, jury duty pay, crossing guard timekeeping, and employee updating personal information relative to payroll. Margaret, you're up again.
These are our payroll procedures. The first big change is we changed from Kronos to UKG and in Green Employee to UKG. So we're updating the name of the software throughout the payroll procedures. That's one of the big change. We're also establishing supervisory duties for timekeeping approvals and deadlines to make sure the supervisors know when they have to be approved. We did have the update to the longevity program last year, so we're just updating the procedures to match that longevity program. With jury duty, employees had been required to turn in their small checks. We are now taking that piece out, letting them keep their $5 or $10 by still being paid for the day. It was taking more time and effort staff-wise than that. Also, we are updating information on gifts and gift cards. Now that we have Nectar employees are getting gift cards, those are taxable items per the IRS. And crossing guards have been on paper timesheets. We are moving toward them using UKG to clock in and out, so then that time does not have to be entered into the timekeeping system. And I believe that is all.
What were the gift cards? The gift cards are taxable to the person who receives them?
Yes, because it is considered taxable income per the IRS. So if I go out and receive a $50 gift card from my Nectar points, that $50 needs to be taxed per federal guidelines.
So is that a 1099?
No, we just tax it on their pay stub.
Okay.
And then when they file their taxes at the end of the year, it counts toward what they owed to the IRS.
I mean, we're getting a whopping amount of gift cards, so, yeah. So I just need to make sure we got that one straight, right?
Yes.
Any questions, Ann?
No questions.
Mayor?
I'm still Murfreesboro.
Let's go to item 5, consideration of resolution 2025-47, a resolution to amend the City of Franklin investment policy for non-pension-related assets. Margaret?
This is a review with our advisors, investment advisors, government portfolio advisors. We review our investment policy to make sure it's up to date and with TCA code. I'll let Christine add anything if she has anything, but it's clarity and modernization for local considerations, delegation of authority, a few other items that you can see listed there. We just wanted to make sure we were following all the regulations we had to.
I would like to update both of you in regards to, there was a situation a couple of years ago, and actually an interpretation of Tennessee state statute regarding local governments holding Treasury agency securities as an investment vehicle for our portfolios. And of course, those are examples like farm credit. There's different types of housing credits that the federal government issues that they've typically held the same rating as the federal government. But at times, not always, but there are times in which the yields are a little bit higher on those federal agency securities than the traditional federal treasuries. And so that was something that was allowable in state law. But the Tennessee state statute gave a clarification that, and there was some discrepancy in that clarification, that when the United States began losing its AAA bond ratings from the major rating agencies, there was a difference of opinion between our state treasurer and our state comptroller on whether we should be holding agency securities. And locals were kind of caught in the middle between these two officers, and certainly we wanted to be in compliance with both. And we did have a written opinion that we could keep the agency securities in our portfolio, just let them mature. We didn't have to sell anything, but we would not buy any more until that was cleared up between the two. And then we were advised within the last several months that there was a change in the state statute that really, we now will be able to, if we want to, purchase Treasury agency securities. And so we had been waiting to update this policy for that to be worked out, but between those two officers. So we actually still have a few agencies in the portfolio. We have one maturing here in a couple of months. So we just haven't been looking at those because we wanted to stay in compliance, that we were just going to hold the ones that we had. So we do, of course, with our investment policy, stay in compliance with state statutes, and then we have a few other sort of tweaks that are for the city of Franklin, because we do manage the portfolio the way we manage it as a city our size. So I just wanted to mention that has been figured out at the state level, and the change in that language doesn't tie it to AAA ratings anymore. So that's something that it's kind of out of our control, whatever bond rating the federal government has, but it does seem to be more clear in direction for us.
Any questions?
No questions.
Then we'll go to item 6, which is establishing rate fees for newly established parks or facilities within the Franklin Park system. All right, ladies. Good afternoon. Do we need one more chair up?
You're behind them all the way.
Good afternoon. I'm Suzanne Carr, the Parks and Recreation Superintendent. We're going to review the summary of fees for the park system. We are going to share the key reasons we're reevaluating fees, go over the existing fees that we have in our park system, and then we're going to show you our proposed fee for our newly established facilities and parks. So some key reasons why we reevaluate fees every year are financial sustainability, adapt to inflation, support accessibility and equity, and align with the community needs, improve our park experience, and keep fees competitive. So we'll review that with you all. So on to our existing fees. The next 3 slides are going to be what we currently are using, and those fees have been in effect since July of 2022. So we reevaluate every 5 years. These have been established for about 3 years. Again, they are existing. Right here are the athletic fields and the tennis courts, is what you see there.
Do we do the adult softball program then at Fieldstone?
We do. So it's actually up there underneath Fieldstone. We have a fee set per team that we established, I think,
So the county no longer, or they have not been doing that for quite some time? Then the county used to,
we used to have a lease with them, and then the lease ran out, and so now we've established this fee to charge per team for the fall and spring season. All right, next I'll show you the existing pavilion fees. Again, they were established 3 years ago, or went into effect 3 years ago. They are pretty basic, $100 for 6 pavilions and $150 for the larger enclosed pavilion at Jim Warren. And then we also have a corporate rate on there for $250, which we use occasionally. All right, so this is the building we're in, the Eastern Flank Event Facility. We also have been using this for 3 years, and back in July 2022, we raised these fees and have been utilizing them ever since. And we have been renting this building quite a lot over the years. In 2019, we had around 75 rentals, around $50,000, and the same in 2024 with a few more rentals. So on to the new proposed fees. So what you see here is our main barn at Harlansdale, which all of you are probably familiar. We have established a $300 per hour rate, and that's through the week, so that would be used for meetings mostly. That's similar to what we do here, but doubled in the price. And then for the indoor space and the outdoor event lawn, it's $5,500 for a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and that's per day. And then it kind of trickles down. Once you, if you wanted to rent both spaces, you could do that for $3,000. Now, if you're going to just use the actual barn, that rate is listed as the indoor event space only. It's $5,000 for those weekend days, and it's $2,500 during the week per day. You can also just rent the event lawn out there for $1,000 per day. And then we have some stall fees on there. Those are 4 stalls that were made for horses, so when and if that happens, we will have that fee ready if horses want to come in. And then we also have a penalty fee of $75 per half hour, which is similar to what we do in this facility. So that way, if they go over the allotted time, 10 p.m., 8 p.m., then we have the ability to charge them. All right. Bicentennial, which we're going to open on Wednesday, June 18th, coming up next week. That's our grand opening and ribbon cutting day. The full rental price for that is $3,000 for a weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Again, that's per day. And then it goes down to $1,500 throughout the week per day. You can rent the plaza area, so if anyone's familiar with that, that's the really nice big space in the front. You can rent that for a smaller gathering for $500 per day without utilizing the structure. There's also a penalty fee there for going over the hours. There's also staff fees, which are across the board for all of these. We have a staff fee set for $45 per hour. The parking only, so if you just wanted to utilize the parking out there, which is the grass area, there's a fee for that, and that kind of mimics what we do at Harlansdale. So we're charging for those lots and accounting for people using just the lots. And then if you wanted to close the street, there's a fee for that, $500 per day from MLK to North
So-
Margin.
So you haven't had anybody to utilize the closing of the street though, right?
Well, we haven't utilized any of these fees
Okay,
yet,
all right, I understand.
yeah. But we anticipate that that request might come, so we wanted to put a fee in place to be ready for that. All right, the last new proposed fee,
What would we do in the closing? Would we just put the barriers up and,
yeah, depending on what the request was, we would work with streets and the police department to handle that,
okay?
make sure everybody was safe. So the park event closure fees, this is applicable now to Harlansdale, and we anticipate using it for Robinson Lake area, which there's a map of both up there. So the full park closure fee is $2,000 per day, and that's for your event setup. So if you're closing the whole park and you want to set up that day, it's $2,000 for the day. A full park closure fee for your event day is $5,000 for only your event day. And then we have partial closures. So partial closures might mean that you're closing the south entrance or the north entrance, whichever one. And we would call that a partial closure, and that would be $1,000 per day for your setup and $2,000 per day for your actual event. And then if you want to set up without disturbing the entrances or without having any closures, then it's $500 to set up, to rent the park and set up for your event a day prior or 2 days prior, or whatever the request was.
So if I wanted to do that, Friday, I could close it for $500 a day to set it up, and then pay, what, $2,000 a day then for a Saturday event if I wanted, so,
Yes, sir. And then the overflow parking, which is similar to Bicentennial, is $100 per hour with a minimum of 4 hours. So we feel like these fees will serve some of our smaller events, like a 5K, and even our larger events, like a Pilgrimage Festival. And those are our proposed fees.
any questions? Diane?
No questions.
Mayor?
I'm curious how that compares to some of the event space rentals in the area.
Yes, which one specifically, or all of them?
I don't know them well enough to
Well, like
list them.
Bicentennial or the barn, I can give you.
Really, the Harlansdale Barn.
The barn.
Yeah, I know
So-
they have event spaces where they have weddings and
Yeah.
various events
So,
and so on.
so what we did is we pulled a lot of comparisons, and some of them we visited. And we pulled municipal facilities and as well as private facilities. So the municipal facilities range, like the Ravenwood Mansion in Brentwood is from $2,000 to $4,500, depending on what you're exactly doing there. Wilma Rudolph is an event venue in Clarksville, and it's $1,300 to $1,600. It's a little bit smaller, and it's more like comparable to a Bicentennial. The private event venues that are similar to the barn range from $3,500 to $8,000, and some are a little higher, depending on what you actually do in those facilities. So,
I have another question. A few meetings ago, the comment came up that somebody wanted to rent the, I guess, the thing where they do the horse, over in Harlansdale. The arena, yeah. But somehow or other it was mentioned that they had to go through the Friends of Franklin Parks to do that. Do they have to?
so the outdoor equestrian arena at Harlansdale is comprised of 8 acres with the equestrian arena and some paddocks around it. That's leased to the Friends of Franklin Parks group.
So if somebody wants to go in now, then they want to rent a piece of property owned by the city, they've got to go through Friends of Franklin Park.
They do, yes, they do rent it from them. However, they work very closely with us through those rentals, the horse shows, mostly is what we have out there equestrian events, and so we work with them on that. And we've been doing that for about 10 years, I suppose.
You sort of done a master lease with them, and then they manage that as a specific use.
Yeah.
Is that fair way to say it?
And then we maintain, the park around it, but again, we work with them to make sure the events go well out there.
So the money that they raise is just going to whatever they support, right? As far as you know?
Yes,
I may be picking on something that's been that way for a long, long time. It just, and I only list, I shouldn't say that. I started to say I only list a part of that presentation that night when that came up, so I didn't hear all of it. And, I may have missed a portion of it then. But that answers the questions I've had from probably a month ago. Mayor?
I'm curious about Harlinsdale Barn because Friends of Franklin Parks helped raise a lot of that money to redo the barn. Do they have any options as far as renting it or any discounts or anything of that nature?
yes. So they have an option, I think, to have up to 3 events per year in our park system. So like they could use this facility if they wanted to have a get-together, or they could rent the barn eventually. But up to 3 events is what's in their lease.
With a fee or no fee?
With no fee.
Well, should I say something else? The Friends of Franklin Park then are renting space that belongs to the taxpayer and then using that to enhance the development of the barn. So, and they get 3 free events. And I don't go out there to the arena anyway, so I shouldn't say too much of that. But I just was trying to figure my way through some of that. Any other questions or comments? Ann, you have any?
No questions.
Then, thank you. That's on here, is it not? Your presentation and
Yes,
the
sir.
rates? Okay. Pull those up. Let's go to item 7 then, is that right? Yeah. Financial report for the third quarter of FY 2025.
It's back to me. I just want to hit a few highlights. We have, of course, gone through the third quarter of March 31st. The general fund currently shows a surplus of $10.2 million, but of course, this will all adjust as we go through the final quarter, and we'll have those numbers as soon as possible after year end. Overall, through the third quarter, local sales taxes are at 6.3% higher than last year. And then I also just wanted to comment that interest income in nearly all the funds is higher due to higher earnings on the city's investments portfolio. So we have seen the change from that from a few years ago.
Any questions, Ann? Anyone else? Then let's go to item 8, which is monthly reports. Margaret?
Yep. Once again, I will just hit a few highlights. Building permits, we are higher than FY '24 by 8.5%, but of course, that is all dependent on development. And then the conference center, out of the 9 months, we have had 6 months of a gain, including April, which was a gain of $69,000. But overall, we have a gain of $380,794 for the conference center for the year through April.
Any questions, Ann?
No questions.
Mayor, anyone? Then, let's go to the last item on the agenda, which we cannot vote on, so I'm not sure how we're going to get out of here. What do you think? So motion to adjourn? We just choose to end it. Good as any. All right, thank you. Now, Appreciate that very much.
And you do not have a Budget and Finance Committee meeting in July,
That's
so
not bad.
you earned that with all your extra meetings in February, March, and April, so
Okay, well,
you
good.
get to have a month off.
And no board meeting, the last board meeting either, is it?
Now, yeah, you
Yes,
get
that's
to
right,
have a
yeah.
little summer break.
So no
July.
budget finance and no board meeting
In the second.
in July?
No,
The
no,
second.
the second one is not. We still have the first one, but not the second one.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your attendance, and we're out of here.